Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be covering the latest Star Wars news, and we begin with Skeleton Crew, the upcoming Mandalorian era show that's been pushed to late 2024, at least according to Bespin Bulletin. Well, today we have even more news, as Daniel Richmond states it's going to be renewed for a second season. And just like we've heard for Ahsoka, apparently its finale demands a season 2. The story ends on a cliffhanger. And despite the fact we've not even had the first season just yet, season 2 is going to start production as soon as the strikes end. Now this, if true, could be very good news, because the more Mandoverse shows we get, the better. And right from its announcement, we've heard rumours of connections between Skeleton Crew and Ahsoka. And with this information that there would be more than one season, I thought back to Ahsoka Part 5, and it dawned on me the show has already set up Skeleton Crew in a huge way. Until now, the only tie-in we knew about were the pirates from Mando Season 3, which are set to feature again in the Jon Watts show, notably Vane, who has taken over from Gorian Shard. But all the signs are there that Ahsoka is connected to it too, and Part 5 may have proven this. Now just bear with me, Skeleton Crew has been marketed as a kids lost in space type of show, similar to Goonies, Stranger Things, and they're a group of friends who all attend the same school. They go on an adventure that reportedly takes them far from home. Could the kids somehow wind up in Peridea? And could one of their classmates already be introduced in the Ahsoka series? You see, when Huyang and Ahsoka set off to find Sabine, Hera stays behind, insisting she has to stay with Jason because he's too young to travel between the galaxies. Could this be a dark and ironic foreshadowing of sorts? What if Jason attends the same school as these kids, a New Republic school for the children of senators and generals? And we know this from the Skeleton Crew teaser trailer shown at Celebration. So could Jason be part of the adventure that takes him to Peridea? This is something worth considering. I foresee this second galaxy being a fixture of Star Wars going forward. The cast of Skeleton Crew has been announced, and I understand Jason is not part of the main group of kids. But I can't help but feel that by some weird twist of fate, he will end up lost. And there could be a second search after they find Ezra, this time for Jason. Maybe when Thrawn returns to the known galaxy, and after the first battle against the New Republic, he abducts Jason, he'll realise how powerful in the Force this kid is. And given his run-ins with Hera Syndulla that did not go well in Star Wars Rebels, this could be a way to spite her. Just a theory. We also have some new Skeleton Crew merch and crew shirts, and this one has a tiny symbol on it, and the Aurebesh reads the word Prefect, so again, going back to the whole school theme. So moving on to our next subject. Entertainment Tonight posted an exclusive behind the scenes of episode 5 of the show, and it gives Dave Filoni's perspective as well as those of Rosario Dawson and Hayden Christensen on Anakin Skywalker's return. But what's gotten a lot of fans talking is the fact we see Grogu in the background of the set. What does this mean? Now, I'm not suggesting for a single second that we're gonna see Mando and Grogu once again in a show other than The Mandalorian, but this is curious. A reasonable explanation is that it's simply a good luck charm, a mascot that Dave propped up on the set, and it's something of an inside joke for the cast and crew. But imagine if there's more to it. What if, as many fans have suggested, Grogu is central to not just the Mandalorian story, but to Ahsoka's story too? Fans have wondered what was shared between Ahsoka and Grogu in The Mandalorian Season 2 Chapter 13. The two talked for hours into the night. We didn't learn everything that Grogu told her as they communed in the Force. She only revealed his name and a couple of bits of backstory, but not the full picture. Does he have a greater significance to her story, and maybe what's to come? Is it possible the Yoda species, which we know nothing about, originates in Peridea, this new galaxy? As I say, this is probably just an on-set mascot. Dave is known for doing this kind of thing. But this new video posted is all about Anakin. It's so great to see Hayden back, and also the fact he's having the time of his life off camera too. He is deservedly basking in this newfound love that the fandom has for the prequel trilogy, and of course in flashbacks as a Force ghost, and in the Kenobi show as Darth Vader as well. Now, while this is for all intents and purposes a snippet of what I assume they're going to expand on in the Disney Gallery eventually for Season 1, Hayden confirmed the significance of a line in Part 5. In this behind the scenes, we see Dave Filoni directing the fight with Ahsoka Tano, and they bring up the delivery of Anakin's line when he says, "I've heard that before," when Ahsoka refuses to fight him. This, of course, as I mentioned in my full episode breakdown, is a reference to Luke in Return of the Jedi and confirmation that this is Anakin's Force ghost, not a vision, not a hallucination, and I am wondering if we're going to see more of this in the behind the scenes gallery. Are they going to address the light and the dark, and how this can be alluding to confirmation of a popular fan theory that Anakin is now the father of Mortis? There is no doubt Anakin is arguably the most special character in all of Star Wars. George Lucas always said, he is the key to everything. But to know that some thought went into these lines, that Hayden Christensen was having debates and conversations with Dave Filoni on and off set, really tells me Hayden really cares about this character. He did the same with George on the set of Revenge of the Sith. They used to have lots of back and forths about how to deliver certain lines. But at this stage, unlike in the prequel trilogy, it's not Anakin in the lead up to his fall into Darth Vader, but rather after episode 6, after death, where he has a better understanding of the Force as a spirit who can manifest in certain ways. The way Hayden Christensen fabulously molds himself for the different versions of his character is not just amazing but also necessary. He may not have done the voice for the Clone Wars series, but Hayden admits he's studied Matt Lanter, that iteration of Anakin, and he confirmed he incorporated those aspects of the character in the flashback sequences. And for me, he's been perfect in every single project, even in episode 2, which he did get a lot of flack for. Over the years, I've brought up so many examples of how Hayden played the role perfectly. I spoke about the Tusken camp, I spoke about foreshadowing, but in this video, I want to give you an example that is so often overlooked. It shows you how small subtleties were so perfectly executed. It's when Anakin goes back to Tatooine to find out where his mother is, so he goes back to their old slave owner Watto. There is such an underrated way that Hayden delivers those lines. His stoic nature and the way he says, "I'd like to know," you can see the frustration, the anger, the desperation, the impatience bubbling and about to hit the surface. And the same applies for most of Anakin in the prequel trilogy. It was all foreshadowing Vader. And so Hayden played the role perfectly. He was supposed to be awkward, he was supposed to be very Vader-like. Hayden tried and succeeded in shaping his performance accordingly. He is a fantastic actor, and it's great to see the fandom recognize that now. So in the Ahsoka series, Anakin as a Force ghost is exactly how he needs to be in order to facilitate Ahsoka's final lesson. There's a wisdom to his character. He is very much testing her. In other Star Wars news, we have another scoop from Daniel Richman that Taika Waititi's movie's been cancelled. According to a couple of sources, who they say come directly from Lucasfilm, Taika's movie has been dead for a long time, or as they like to say, indefinitely delayed. Whereas Lucasfilm is going to prioritize the Rey movie, the one directed by Charmin Obaid-Chinoy. A little bit of information has come out about Taika's film as well. It was reportedly going to focus on a Force-sensitive planet, so think along the lines of Dagobah, Ilum, Cetos, whatever you want, and the nature of the Force therein. But they say there were too many risks. They saw that Solo already took a lot of risks, and they didn't want another box office flop. Again, this is not confirmation of anything, this is not verified, it is just a rumour. A couple of outlets such as Big Screen Leaks have contradicted this, saying Taika's movie is gonna happen. But it wouldn't surprise me if it's true. The other day Taika Waititi literally joked that he might never get the script finished. And at that time, at the Toronto International Film Festival, he might have already been aware that his film was not going to go ahead. So those are the latest updates, my dear friends. Share your thoughts on all of them in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you tomorrow. Look out for my full episode breakdown for part 6 of Ahsoka. May the Force be with you, always.